Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life.
Thank you for tuning in. My name is Shalom Yemini. Each week, we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find inspiration that will complement your daily life and intensify your connection to God.
This week's Parsha Perspective is sponsored by Eliyahu Or Ben Chana. May Hashem bless him and his family with much health, success, and happiness. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Naso. Our Parsha begins with Hashem telling Moshe how the Mishkan was to be transported by the three families of Shevet Levi, Gershon, Kahas, and Merari. Gershon's family was responsible for carrying all the tapestries, veils, and skins that were used in the Mishkan. The Kahas family was tasked with transporting all the holy vessels that were specifically made for the Mishkan, and the Merari family were entrusted with carrying all the structural components that were used in the Mishkan. Hashem then tells Moshe the priestly blessings that are recited by Kohanim on many different occasions until this very day, and the Parsha concludes with recounting the collective and individual gifts that were given by the heads of the tribes, the Shvatim, at the inauguration of the Mishkan. However, a question comes to mind. This week's Torah portion is the longest Parsha in the entire Torah, with 176 verses. The reason for so many psukim is because the Parsha details all of the individual offerings of the tribal heads. However, all of the individual offerings of the leaders were exactly the same. So why doesn't the Torah just write the offering once and say that each of the tribal leaders gave the same offering on different days? Rashi on that pasuk writes that the reason the Torah repeats the offering of each of the tribal leaders is to show appreciation for each gift. He explains that the tribal leaders were only going to give one united and collective gift. However, the leaders were so inspired and impassioned that they gave an individual offering to personally thank God. However, the Lubavitcher Rebbe gives a deeper and more powerful explanation. He explains that the reason the Torah repeats the offering of each of the tribal leaders is because they were brought for different reasons. As the Medrash Rabbah writes on Bamidbar, that the individual offerings were given on behalf of the rest of the Shevet by the leader, and therefore, after the leaders wanted to thank God with the collective gift, they wanted to thank Hashem on behalf of their Shevet. The Rebbe continues that the individual offerings were only brought after the collective gift was given, and although each Shevet was singular and different, they first had to unite together and join to value and celebrate each other's uniqueness and abilities. And this is why the Torah details each gift individually, for it demonstrates that they recognized each other's differences, talents, and abilities. They understood that it is there are many types of people that create a strong and resilient nation. As we say each day in davening, Barchenu Avinu Kolanu Echad. Our Father in heaven blesses us when we are one. In our daily life and during these trying times, it is imperative that we stay together and be united despite all differences. We need to appreciate and value the characteristic differences that make us an individual, for the Jewish nation is inherently connected, and thus the Jewish people's physical and spiritual future lies in every Jewish person's hand. There's an amazing quote by Alexander the Great. Remember, upon the conduct of each lies the fate of all. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.